Hello, everybody. Greetings to all. Welcome to the Snooker Hole podcast. I'm Dan Murren. I wish a very, very happy new year to everyone in the Snooker Hole community. One of the resolutions for the podcast this year is to continue talking with individuals from all parts of snooker. Today, we'll be focusing on the playing side. And to help us out with that, I'm joined by a very, very special guest. It's an honor to welcome Louis Heathcote to the Snooker Hole podcast.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure to talk. So where are you from?
From Leicester.
So a lot of snooker takes place in Leicester. Do you like the travel away from Leicester, or do you appreciate the fact that the Mattioli Arena is kind of close by?
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons for both. It's a bit strange when you're playing at like 7 o'clock at night and you've got all day to you just do your normal. It feels weird, like you're not preparing for a game, and then you play at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and it's only 5 minutes away. So yeah, there's pros and cons, but overall, I'd say it was a good thing.
And what are your early memories of snooker?
Early memories of snooker, mainly from pool, to be honest. My earliest memories would be pool. That's how I started getting into the game, and then gradually got into snooker as I was a bit older and a bit taller. But yeah, probably my earliest memories would be like pool, playing pool for England, Leicester, and stuff like that. So that's how I started.
So you're a pretty good pool player as well.
I've not played for a while, but I could probably still find my way around the pool table. Yeah.
So this is 8-ball or 9-ball?
8-ball,
8-ball.
English.
Okay. And your snooker heroes when you were getting into the game?
Ronnie, it was always Ronnie for me. You know, I used to watch his videos of him playing on YouTube for hours on end and try and go and replicate what he did the next day, and then go again and watch videos of him playing again, his stance, direction, everything. So it was always Ronnie for me growing up.
No, it's a pretty common answer. Recently, Elliot Slessor had John Higgins, and he thought that was a weird answer. I thought, it's not that weird. John Higgins is one of the greats. But I said to Elliot that Ronnie just has maybe that little bit of extra showmanship I'm going to refer to Pulp Razzmatazz. A little bit more, I don't know, just that little bit of charisma. He is a draw, absolutely. He's not everyone's cup of tea, of course, but he is a draw. There's no doubt about that. And even in terms of watching on YouTube, it clearly worked for you. So
Don't get the stuff off the table and, you know, like his opinions and stuff like that. You don't really take that in when you're younger. You sort of watch him play, and that's how you fall in love with the game, and that's how you becomes your hero. You don't really take everything else into consideration until you're a bit older and you're a part of it and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, definitely growing up just purely watching him it just motivated me to go and practice every day.
yeah, on the table, he's pretty much without rival, really. It's he's something special. What other sports are you into?
I love golf. Probably my favourite sport. Darts at the minute.
Of course.
Just moved to the house, so I got a dartboard up straight away. So
Nice.
I go come home and play a bit of darts whilst the weather's bad, and then when the weather picks up a bit more, I'll be back out on the golf course again. But I love golf. We'll watch it every day on YouTube and stuff like that.
So I've got two questions to follow on from that. Are you good at darts?
I'm alright. Not the greatest. I can hit a few 180s and stuff like that, but
Okay,
nothing.
it's better than most. And golf?
Golf. More out of golf, mid handicap about 12, so 12, 13. So I'm all right. Yeah, not too bad. I can get around the golf course, but I'm hoping to get down to single figures this year and get a bit better at darts as well. As obviously snooker's main priority, but
Of course, yeah. You need to take a break every now and again. Yeah. It's what's your weak point in the golf? Why are you? Well, I say weak point. 12 handicap. It's not that bad, you know. What's your strength in golf? Putting or driving or chipping or?
my irons and putting is okay, but my chipping driver's a bit wayward, can be, but my lets me down massively. I duff in chips and lose shots around the green a lot. I think that's a big difference between being a 12, 13 handicap to like a 8 or 9. So hopefully you can work on the chipping this year and down to single figures. That's the goal.
Marginal gains, right?
Yeah, big time.
So who supported your journey from the junior game to now the pro tour?
Yeah, there's been so many people. My dad used to take me up and down the country every week to tournaments, so without him, sacrificing his weekends when he's been at work all week, I wouldn't be here where I am today. So I owe a lot to him. Obviously, my mum as well supported me loads. And then growing a bit older, I had a couple of people down the club. Obviously, the owner of the club, Ram at Club 147, he's given me free table time, my own table since I was young. So I owe everything to him as well. Really, without people like that giving you a chance, you've got no hope. So I've been really supported. There's a few others. A bloke called Renty looked after me younger and helped me along the way. I've a couple of good sponsors as well. Just before I turned pro, had a sponsor, East Goscott Roofing, a guy called Daz McGowan. He used to help me out so much, me all around the country, and used his weekends to take me to tournaments and stuff. So he was amazing. And my current sponsor now, a company called Above and Beyond, they help me out so much. They give me, the chance to play with a bit of freedom and not have to worry about expenses off the table. So, him Max at Above and Beyond is a huge help at the minute. So I've got so many people around me. There's loads more than that. One of my best mates, Jamie Brown, he comes with me to every single tournament and picks balls out for me in the week. So, there's so many people around me that support me. It's unbelievable.
So you mentioned you mate Jamie. This seems to be more common these days, or at least it's more noteworthy and it's spoken about more. Players having someone in their corner all the time. And it's not just whether it be a coach or maybe it's just that moral support. I suppose the most notable example is Judd Trump and his brother, because that's spoken about a lot. But what does that offer you?
I think it's discipline and company as well, because it can be lonely. The club where I play at doesn't open till 4 p.m. So I got my own set of keys. I go in the mornings and stuff. So you can be in there all day on your own. So it's nice to have company and someone there to keep you disciplined. And when you're away at tournaments, you're in a hotel on your own or whatever. It's nice to have someone there and to chat to go out for a coffee, something to eat, and they keep your mind off the snooker. And then when there's time to go to your match, keep your mind on the snooker. I'm obviously not in a position where I can have someone there full time. Jamie works, full time, so he comes when he can and stuff like that. But he tries his best to make it to all the tournaments, which is great. So, hopefully one day I can have some fun, but we're doing what we can at the minute.
So I'll tell you how my mind works. This is, don't laugh, you'll laugh. So you said you have your own keys to this club, and you said that Jamie maybe offers you that little bit of structure, bit of discipline. So my brain immediately went to, without discipline, you'd be messing around playing trick shots on the table. You'd rip the cloth on the table, and when the owner does come in, there's no one else to blame except you.
Yeah,
If Jamie's there, he'll keep you on the straight and narrow. No trick shots. Actually play properly. So
I
he's
did rip
actually saving you some
my.
expenses.
It'd only be me that I'd have to pay. So it affect anyone else other than me, really. But yeah, I get distracted a lot when I'm on my own sometimes, on my phone and taking breaks here and there. When I've got someone there with me, I get a lot more done within 2-3 hours than you would 5 or 6 on your own, because someone's picking the balls out for you for one, and then as soon as you're done, you move straight on to the next routine and stuff like that. So I think it's a massive help. Yeah.
And speaking of the jump from the junior game to the pro tour, how big a jump is that? Because the intensity of matches, obviously the quality of opponents, bigger arenas, more people watching. How hard is it to bridge that gap?
It is very hard. The hardest part is once you get on tour, staying on tour. I've been in 6 years, always on the cusp of the 64, and managed to keep my tour card the first time on the 1 year list, and then fell off tour. Now I'm coming to the end of my second year again. So the hardest part is to stay on. It's just you get a lot of chances. I always thought once I turned pro, nobody misses and you would never get any chances, but that's not the case. You do get a lot of chances, but you've got to be a bit more disciplined with shots, and your safety's got to be a lot better. I've found shot selection, and 40s are not good enough, 50s are not good. You've got to be making 60s, 70s, 80s every time you get in and punishing people when they miss. And I think a lot of it comes down to safety for me, because everybody's safety game is pretty good. So you need to be in that department with shot selection and in the tighter matches and playing the right shots at the right time. I think knowledge comes into it a bit more at this level rather than the amateur level.
So you're 27 years old now. So there are obviously more experienced players than you on tour, but so you're saying that maybe as experience grows, players become better
Yeah,
or
I think
smarter, harder to beat, maybe, or
it's the battle scars. Playing chucking matches away when you should have won. Learning from the shots you've played that have cost you matches. I think so. They've got 20, 30 of knowledge ahead of people coming through. And we might have a bit more scoring power, potting power, but they know they can win matches playing their C game because they know how to win. So I think that comes with time and, like you say, experience. I feel like I'm getting there a little bit, starting to win a few more closer matches and playing a lot better under pressure and stuff. So I'm hoping over the next couple of years I'll really be able to step up and make that jump.
And speaking of the future, you've recently started working with Taylor Wilson.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about this new relationship?
Well, Taylor contacted me a couple of months ago now, and we was chatting a bit and stuff. And I just think being in the same stable as Kyron and Stuart Bingham is a no-brainer, really. I don't think it can't possibly not help my game if he can take care of things, off the table and help arrange practices. Just take a lot of pressures off me going forward. All I have to do is focus on the snooker, and I think it was a no-brainer to give it a go and see how it goes.
I listened to Taylor on Talking Snooker recently, and I don't know if this is what he wanted, but the thing that jumped out most to me was the ambition and
Yeah.
not being satisfied with what you have. I think just in every aspect of life, we should always want more. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I want to. The example he gave of Kyron Wilson winning the World Championship and already looking at how to break the Crucible curse. Now, some would say that's arrogance. I don't see it that way. I say, no, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. Mark Allen has said the same. He said, I want to be world champion. I think we kind of need a bit more of that in snooker. Is that how can Taylor and his team help to push you to the next level?
Well, I think, talking to Taylor and seeing how ambitious he is and where he go and where he wants to take the players he's working with, I think you to have someone like that in your corner who's going to work hard for you as much as you're going to work hard for him and yourself. It's a sort of, you need that in your corner nowadays, and to see someone's willing to put the work in for you is a good feeling. And like you say, he's ambitious and wants to go far and have his his own management company, big successful company and stuff. So yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be a part of that, and I'm grateful that he wants me to be a part of it, and hopefully we can work well together and climb up the ladder.
So I know recently you had a big win over Mark Selby, a big ranking tournament. So a win over a legend of snooker. But that coupled with someone like Taylor Wilson seeing something in you, that's got to give you a lot of confidence, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't know. I don't really know what to think about that match with Mark, because we both didn't play very well. Mark's not played that bad for a long time. You won't mind me saying. But don't get me wrong. I got over the line and I got to 4 before, but that was about it for me. Play that bad again. Any other day of the week, he would beat me that day. So maybe that's where I'm going wrong, and that's how my brain works. But it was nice to get the win on telly, and I can't even say that I did it well. I just sort of fell over the line, really. I put a couple of overs, but the biggest follow it up with another couple of wins and get to my first quarter final, which was a goal of mine this year. So that was probably the biggest thing I took away from that week. Yeah, I've not read too much into that whenever Mark, because he played. So I was just lucky. I just played not as bad as he did.
the tabloid headline with this is going to be slams Mark Selby. Someone's going to, yeah. But
Yeah.
your intention's good, yeah. But you've also qualified for the World Open.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going to China? Not just in terms of the travel, but the experience of playing in a different country, different culture. It's got to be exciting, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm still pretty new to like going China and stuff. I've been on tour 6 years, but I got on the first year and it was COVID. So I went to China in 2019. And then I went again in 2024. That was the second time. And I went to the same place I'm going to go to this time for the World Open. So it's still a new experience for me. I'm still trying to like learn the ways when I get there, how to adapt to the jet lag and the food and stuff like that. And, I've not really played that well in China too much. But I'm hoping to change that this time and hopefully try and give myself a bit of justice and play a decent match. And hopefully, the more times I go there, the more I get used to the changes and how to deal like with the food and the timings and sleep and stuff like that. So I am looking forward to it. The ceremony is always big and extravagantic and stuff like that. So it's always a nice feeling because they treat you really well and everything. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. And it was a big win for the rankings as well because I lost in the German. So I really needed to win in that one, else I'd have been dropping down and dropping outside the top four in the 1 year list. So that win was massive for me more than anything in the rankings.
Yeah, the season is kind of front heavy in terms of ranking events. It's okay, we've got the Players Series, but not everyone gets into it, and we've got the German, the Welsh, and the World Open, and after that, it's pretty much
Yeah,
World Championship season, right?
they do. So we're coming into the second half of the season. It's a big second half. It's not. It's 80% of it's done now for 60, 70, 80 players on tour. They've got the Welsh. If you didn't qualify for the German or the China, you had the Welsh and the Worlds, and that's it for majority of the tour. So I think something needs to be done about that and have some more tournaments in the new year. I think was it last year or the year before I went into the Worlds. I had one tournament in like 4 months, and it's like how can you like prepare it or 3 months? How can you prepare properly for the Worlds when you've only got one tournament? And that was in China, so I sort of went. Was it Germany, then China, then the Worlds or something? So my last tournament before the Worlds was 6 weeks before the Worlds, and it was in China. So I think something needs to change in that aspect and have some more tournaments in the new year because for 70-80% of the tour, there's barely anything.
Well, Dave Hendon said on the Snooker Scene podcast a while ago now that, for example, the Masters is coming up next week, and for fans, it's great. It's a great venue, one table setup, but for 7/8 of the tour, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
And some people will see that as the marker halfway through the season. But what you just said, I think, is probably more accurate. We're well into the second half of the ranking event
yeah,
of the season for the majority of players.
yeah. It needs just even a couple more tournaments would be nice, but because they've got a lot of stuff for the top players like the Masters and then the Championship League in the new year, the Players Tour, the Tour Championships or whatever, they're going to struggle to fit it in. But it's not really right for everyone else. We don't really have any tournaments. But then you can have the other side of it that you should qualify for the Grand Prix, but it's difficult. But yeah, it would be nice. I'd personally just want to play every week if I could. If there was a tournament every week, I'd be there. So that's all we want to do is play snooker.
Well, no, we had the Championship League groups 1 and 2, I believe, recently. Now, I know it's not everyone's favourite event, but I quite like it. I think it's great, and I'm sure that as a player,
Mm.
good to get competitive practice
Yeah,
against another
it's
good
great
player. It's
that getting it because they're earning money after Christmas. They're getting match practice. That's not a ranking event, so it doesn't really mean anything. They're gonna have 2-3 days of playing different people and chances to earn money and stuff. So it's fantastic for the people that get to go in it, but for the people that don't, it's rubbish. So it would be nice if we could play if they had another one like they did at the start of the season. where everybody plays in it. That would be good if they could do that, but I don't think they will, which is obviously up to them. So
Yeah, the calendar's pretty packed, isn't it? So it's you mentioned the Crucible a few minutes ago. You had a good run in qualifying
yeah,
in, well, it would have been April. Yeah, I mean, you were what, 2 frames away from qualifying. I mean, you can take a lot of positives, I guess, or is it? Do you have regrets over this? What's your
no,
main feeling coming out of it?
no. It was I was upset after I lost because I missed the pink off the spot, clearing up to go 9-7 instead of 8-all, and I think that was big. But once I got over that, I looked back with fond memories that week. My friend was there with me all week, however long I was there for, I can't remember. But it was such a good week. I had some really good wins, and I didn't have the best season, so it was nice to finish the season strong and feeling good. I was kind of gutted the season ended because I felt really good coming out the back end of that. So I could have done with it just beginning, but after that we had a big break. But no, I look back and just with fond memories. Really, it was a good experience to play because I got to Judgment Day in lockdown. There was no one there, but this one they had a crowd in and that, and it was absolutely rammed for a qualifiers in Sheffield. There was not an empty seat in there, so to play in an environment like that and to play well all day, over the week was great. So I just used that as pure positives moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Couple of questions. Dress code. What are your feelings on dress code?
I don't mind. I don't mind it. I think growing up, I always wanted to realise that I wanted to play snooker. I was a lot of the tournaments were in polos and stuff like that, and I always used to look. I want to be in my waistcoat when I know my waistcoat. I thought, I'm in a final or I'm in a big tournament here, so I always used to feel like really smart and proper. So I don't mind it. I think they could balance it out and have a few, like the black shirt events. They could make them pose something like that, but I don't know. I don't really mind it. I don't have too much of an opinion on it really. I'm pretty laid back with a lot of things. So whatever they tell me.
And the craziest fluke you've seen, either in your favour or in your opponent's favour?
Probably mine against Ryan Day. I don't know if you've seen it.
What's
The
that one?
yellow. It was in the world qualifiers. I was snookered behind the black cushion, and it was like this far off the cushion the black was, and I was tucked in behind it and come off the jaws of the corner pocket, and it went up the table. The yellow. You'll have to have a look on YouTube.
I'm making a note now, yeah. Because this came to you quickly, so this has got to be pretty good.
So when I seen the question, I thought that straight away.
And okay, so you're from Leicester. There's Mark Selby, Joe O'Connor, Tom Ford, other Leicester lads. Are these players you hang around with, you go for dinner with when you're on tour? Or
Yeah,
who do you hang around with?
I hang around with. Well, I've always been close to Tom ever since I was like 10, 11. He used to practice at the same club as where I played or where I've grew up playing and still play now. He's always sort of looked after me, especially when I turned pro. He'd always help me out. Like if I had to book a flight to China, he'd say, "This is the flight I'm on. Do this, do that, and travel with me. I'll take you to the airport." And he'll book things, help book things for me. He's always been there for me. Always been advice or practicing, helping me like shot selections, and we'd always chill out or even go for a drink and a game of golf together off the table. So he's a good friend. Joe O'Connor as well. I've known him since I was 10 again at the same pool. We used to play in the England team together. Grew up in the amateur circuit together, and then now pro together. So practice with them both and go out for dinner with them both when we're away and chill with them. So yeah, it's nice. I've known them for ages, so they are really good friends. And obviously Mark as well. Mark's a bit different. He's obviously he's a bit higher up in practices with a couple of different people. I played him now and again, but he's always there for me. Mark, he texts me when I'm playing well, and he said I could ring him and talk to him about anything, and I played golf with him a few times, so we're all pretty close, I'd say. Yeah.
Are you the best golfer out of the Leicester lads? Or?
No, probably Ford.
Oh,
Ford
he's
is,
good. Yeah.
and I think he's about 9, but yeah, he's quite good. Ford, he's all right. Yeah. I'm coming for him this year.
It's a challenge. It's a gauntlet laid down. It's
Yeah,
good. No, I've noticed this with a few players, especially some of the younger players like yourself. The gratitude that is shown, like you've just expressed there, to players like Tom Ford, maybe slightly more senior than yourself, but the helping hand they give to the younger guys. I think it's a good thing about snooker. It's
yeah,
okay when you hit the table. Okay, they're not your mates anymore, or they shouldn't be. But
yeah.
off the table, there's nothing wrong with giving someone a helping hand. And I've noticed that a few players I've spoken to have spoken very highly about this camaraderie between the players. I do
Yeah.
like that.
They want to. It's not because they feel like they have to, which is nice. Like they could easily not like bring something up or offer you help, or they don't have to do it. It's because they want to. So it's nice to know that they want to help the young people coming through. And practice with Anthony Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, and we great just to chat to him about everything and his experiences and where I think I can improve and stuff like that. We had a good chat for about an hour after in between practice and after, and he really helped me that day. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And like same again, he didn't have to, but he wanted to, and he said, I'm here for you if you want a chat or whatever." So it was nice for someone with that amount of experience and everything he's done in the game to try and pass them down to me. It's great.
And what is your ambition for the rest of the season?
But, well, first and foremost is just to stay on tour this year. I think I'm 60 on the end and number 2 on the 1 year list. So I'm hoping to get in the top 64. That's something I've not managed to do yet. You're going to get a lot of benefits going into next season with draws for China's and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get in the 64, but worst case, get a fresh 2 year tour card from the 1 year list, and that's just my main focus this like going into this last 20% of the season or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just as long as I stay on tour, I get to keep my job for next year, which is the main thing. And then hopefully next year I'll set new goals and try and climb the ladder of the rankings and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world when you get to China.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Louis. I really appreciate the insight and the input. It's good to get the perspective of different players from time to time. So I appreciate your time.
No worries at all for having me on.
Thanks, Louis, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you to Louis Heathcote for taking the time to join the Snooker Hall podcast, and thank you to Taylor Wilson for facilitating and arranging. As Louis mentioned, we're approaching the final stages of the season, believe it or not. It has flown by, but one of the most anticipated events of the season is only a few days away from breaking off, the Masters at Alexandra Palace in London. I'm flying to London on Thursday to make sure I'm there in time. There is a lot of excitement around this tournament. A quick word on WST Play, which was announced this week. I've seen some of the prices, £5 a month or £50 for the 12-month subscription. I've mentioned before, I lived in Seattle for 7 years and I lived in Ottawa for a few years as well, so close to 10 years in North America. And the coverage there, it's not great. Well, it has never been great. The Triple Crown events were on DAZN, which was ridiculously priced. But for everything else, it was the clunky Matchroom Live experience, similarly priced to WST Play, but there were some problems with Matchroom Live. They're publicized. That's not news. Matchroom Live had an annoying feature. If you wanted to switch between the two tables that were on the broadcast, the user would have to log in each time you switch. Even if you just signed in, you'd have to re-sign in. It was really frustrating, really time consuming. Hopefully WST Play will iron out those pesky, irksome features. I mean, at the moment I live in Denmark, coverage here of snooker is fantastic. Almost everything is on Eurosport through Max, or HBO as I like to call it. And the Championship League and British Open and the other events like that, they're on Viaplay. We don't miss any snooker here. If the service is good, it could be a great way to get more eyes on the sport in other parts of the world. It would have been great to have it in North America myself, but let's see what the feedback is. I think we should be realistic. There are always teething problems with services like this, so let's give them a chance to get it right. We can't expect perfection straight away, and rarely do we get it with anything like this. The feature which offers priority tickets for UK events, that's an interesting one. I think that alone could attract some subscribers who have full access to Eurosport Snooker, BBC Snooker anyway. I will publish another episode at the weekend, just a brief preview for the Masters and a few predictions. Thank you to everyone who has supported the podcast so far. It's a new year. Hopefully the podcast will continue to grow. New listeners, new guests, new stories, new voices. If you want to get in touch with the show, the email address is contactus@thesnookerhole.com, and you can follow the show on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. The handle for all of those platforms is @thesnookerhole. Thank you for listening, and until next time, take care.